This is UNG Nighthawks All-Access. Hello everyone, Craig Corbin here, and thanks for joining us as we continue our look at UNG athletics, to visit with student athletes, coaches, and staff that make UNG athletics a reality. And joining us now, Coach Buffie Burson. Coach, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It is always a pleasure to be able to visit with you and learn more about what's happening in women's basketball. And of course, you are really a fixture here at UNG. Yeah. And we were just chatting before we began the segment. You're now in your 26th year here in Dahlonega. That's amazing.
It is. It is amazing. Like we said, the first 10 years went kind of slow and normal, and then from 10 to 25, I blinked and here I am.
And what a tradition you've established here at UNG. 21 seasons are very much the norm. Talk about how it was when you first came on board here in Dahlonega, what you inherited with the program, and then what transpired over these last 25 years.
Yeah, well, North Georgia always had a good women's basketball tradition. So when I came in, we had that, but I was very, very young, very green, so very inexperienced. But the good thing is I didn't know what I didn't know. So, I was able to make mistakes and when I was young, and North Georgia stuck with me in those first couple of years. And our third year, we won our first championship, and everybody just jumped on board, and success breeds success, and recruits came, and we kept it going and kept building on the culture, and then things have just stayed in place, and we've had a good run here.
Talk about, you mentioned culture, and that's something that really defines a program. I think more than wins and losses, what goes on off the hardwood. And I know there are many facets to that, and how you have created the culture that is UNG women's basketball. Many things that are done in the off season. Talk a little bit about what those facets are and how that came about.
They're so important. Our culture is everything. We work on it every day. And if I can give you a little bit of background, I guess I think it was my third year, we started a tradition called Dog Week, and we've had it ever since. And it was the history, little quick history behind that is we were on quarter system when everybody else was on semester, so we had to bring our players in early to get them worked out. So it was track and basketball and weights and all the stuff that they didn't really want to do, but we had to do in order to get caught up. And then from there, I guess that was around the year 2000, I hooked up with Colonel Billy Shaw, and he brought the Special Forces training exercising into the program, and then from there it's just kind of taken off, and we've just done that type of stuff, the mental toughness training, the finding out our strengths and weaknesses, doing really hard stuff together, putting ourselves through a lot of adversity in a short amount of time, and that's been a really big tradition. All our recruits know about it. It's well known. Our players talk about it all the time, and this has been a super important part of our program. It's really hard, but it's really good. It sets the foundation. We have it early September every year, and it sets the foundation for our program. If you come here and play here, you're going to go through something hard for a few days, but it's always going to pay off, and you're always going to find out a lot about each other in that short amount of time. And there's never been a time where it hasn't been a direct correlation of how we've done in Dog Week and how we've done in the season. And so it's always super important to see that.
And I know that it's important that any prospective student athletes know that expectation is there. They realize that that's part of becoming a member of UNG basketball.
It is. It's a rite of passage, and you're super proud when you do go through it, and you can say that. And all the alumni don't really talk about basketball games. They talk about surviving Dog Week, and we bring them back to the. Of course, they talk about basketball games, but that is a big, huge part of our culture, and it's a very important part.
I know there's another aspect that predates the preseason, and that's the fitness test, and that's something that is very much a part to set that benchmark, the expectation. And I think there is one member of the team that has been able to pass that fitness test on her first attempt each and every year.
Yeah, Imani Arnold, no shock to anybody. I mean, she runs track and track here also, but yeah, every year, all 3 years, she's met it the first time. And a little backstory behind our fitness test, we used to call it the Elite Eight. So for a million years, it was the Elite Eight, and it was really hard. And we made a deal, or the players made a deal with me before the season started. Abby Franklin, Kara Groover, Imani, they were like, if we go to the Elite Eight, then you're gonna have to do away with the conditioning test. And I was like, all right, absolutely. If we do, it's gone. And so I'm telling, and they'll tell you this too, but as soon as the buzzer went off, at the regional championship, that was the first thing out of their mouth. It was like, all right, no more Elite Eight. So we had to change it a little bit. It's still hard, but we changed it after that.
And that's the perfect lead in to the next point of the conversation. Last year's team, so phenomenal, 30-5 on the season, made the Elite Eight, something that had never been done before. I can recall the win over Lander in the Sweet 16 to get you into that, and the emotion that was just an outpouring of it. Take us back from the coaching staff's standpoint, knowing that that team had accomplished what had never been done before.
Yeah, it was special, because we had success the year before, and we had a really strong nucleus coming back. But you just don't know, and that team didn't know either. And so it started early on when we got tested against Carson Newman here and lost. Like, the only game we've lost in here is the Carson Newman. So we didn't like that, and so from that point on, I think it kind of set our team on fire. But just the three seniors, Tamara Thorpe and Amber Schedule and Vanessa Agruso were not going to let us lose. We had great underclassmen, but they were bought in. They were transfers that came in that didn't have to. Sometimes you come in with entitlement. They never did. They were buy-in from day one. The amount of care that they have for our program is just off the chart, and they brought that the entire season. Weren't going to let us lose, and they did all the the little things that we're asking our team to do now. That they're like, why are we doing that? Well, it takes time. It takes time to build the chemistry, and it takes hard work and dedication. And those three, obviously they had help, but those were the three that kind of led the run for us.
This is Nighthawks All-Access. We're visiting with head coach Buffie Burson, and when we talk about the responsibilities that come with running a program, you have the benefit of some phenomenal assistant coaches, and that is something when we look at Jamie and Jordan and what they bring to your staff. Talk about that aspect of the program.
I feel like I have the best.
Yeah.
I'm biased, but I do. They played for us, and I think that's so important. We can always bring somebody else in, but they've played for us, and they still bring their perspective. They're not afraid to challenge and say, "Hey, coach, let's do it this way." It might have taken a year or two to get there, but we're there. And I respect their opinion, and they're humble enough to, if I don't use it, that's great too. But they're also close enough to the age of the players where they have a good time and they keep it light, and they work them hard. And they're just very, I go back to the word care that I used with those three seniors from last year. They care so much about our program that it keeps it running, and it keeps us wanting to win, and it keeps us hungry. And I just can't say enough nice things about them and what they do for us. They work really hard and put in a lot of time.
I know that there are so many things that are a part of the family that's known as UNG Athletics, and in your time here, so many relationships that you've developed with so many different people. But if you could look back at your time here in Dahlonega and pick out one or two things that stand out as being the best to you personally and professionally in your time here at UNG.
It's a no-brainer that the people and the relationships, I'm still close to the people that I met 25 years ago. And we stay in touch all the time, and obviously there's a bunch that have come and gone, and former players that come back, and then Coach Inslee that hired me, down the road, and I owe so much to him. It's not even funny, but yeah, that would have to be the number one thing. Just the family atmosphere and the friendships formed in the community, and people still coming to our games 25 years later, I just think is amazing. And then I guess on the professional side of it is just being able to grow and stay in the same place. Not do the same things that I did 25 years ago, but just see all the growth in the college and going Division II, for the past 10 or whatever many years, and being able to not have to leave to move up a level, and the competitiveness is off the chart. So, yeah.
As you look back, when you first began your coaching career, would you have ever imagined being here today in this situation?
No. I didn't know. I didn't know if I was going to stay here 2 years or 5 or 10, and to be here this long. Like I said, thank you, Lord, and thank you for the relationships. Because if it wasn't for the Lord, if it wasn't for the relationships, I wouldn't be here. Because facilities, scholarships, none of that matters. I could have gone somewhere else and had those things, but the people and the recruits that we attract and the people that come to this, and just everyday people that we see in the office are just incredible people, and that's why I'm still here.
It is such a pleasure to know that you, your staff, your team, the program represents UNG so well.
Thank you.
Anywhere you go, the reputation is phenomenal, and it's a pleasure to be able to showcase you and the program, and so glad that you were able to spend some time with us today.
It's an honor.
On Nighthawk All-Access.
It's an honor. Honor to talk to you, Craig.
Indeed, indeed.
Always.
And I greatly appreciate that time.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll learn more about athletic training here at UNG. This is Nighthawks All-Access.
Where did Coach Burson graduate from?
Oh crap, we were just talking about this the other day. Oh man. I totally forgot. I don't even know. Does it start with a J? Dang it. Oh.
Give you a hint.
Coach, I'm sorry.
M?
An M?
M?
Oh, that was the last thing I was thinking. Oh, Coach, I'm so sorry.
University of Montevallo.
Montevallo. I knew that. We were just talking about this the other day. Literally. Just the other day.
What year did Coach Burson win her first conference championship?
She's won a lot. A lot. Is that one of the questions too? How many has she won? Just kidding. I'm gonna go like NCAA Division II or just like conference overall?
Conference
Overall. I'm gonna go 2001.
97.
97? Woo! I wasn't even born yet.
How many conference freshman of the year has Coach Burson coached, and who was the last one that she coached?
Oh, Abby Franklin was the last one. I know that. Good old Mish. How many? I'm gonna say 9. Are you really? Yes. Wow.
What year was Coach Burson named the Peach Belt Conference Coach of the Year? There's multiple years.
She got robbed last year. She should have won it last year. Didn't. I'm gonna say 2015. No. Was it? It wasn't 2016, was it? No.
Not 2016.
No.
You're all around it.
I'm all around it. 2017? 14. Yes. Oh, okay, 2014.
2014, 2018, and 2006.
She won it last year? What?
According to her bio.
2018, like the 17 year freshman.
Oh, my freshman year. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. She did.
How many years has Coach Burson been doing Dog Week?
Oh, okay, hold on. It's on our shirt. 24. 24?
This year's 24.
Yes.
Yep. Where was Coach Burson born?
Alabama. Auburn? No? She's a big Auburn fan, I know that. Her parents are from there. We were just talking about that the other day. Or that's where they went to, they're from here. That's where they went to school and met. Where was she born? Is it in Georgia?
It's an arch.
St. Louis? What? Coach, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that one.
It takes more than intelligence and talent to succeed in life. It takes grit and a commitment to excellence.
It takes the willingness to serve others and a cause greater than yourself.
It requires you to push boundaries
Ask difficult questions.
and understand the world around you
It requires you to know your strengths.
and weaknesses, and have the desire to make yourself better than you were yesterday.
It requires you to be independent, efficient, and tolerant.
Ultimately, it requires you to be a leader. At the University of North Georgia, we develop leaders.
Leaders who serve our country abroad to tackle the challenges of the world.
And leaders who serve at home to improve our way of life.
Leaders who never quit.
Leaders who lead by example and not exception.
Leaders who are tough, but fair.
Leaders who are relentless and passionate.
Leaders who solve problems and don't make excuses.
Leaders who do the right thing, even when no one's looking.
There's nothing average about the University of North Georgia and its Corps of Cadets.
If you've got what it takes, then bring it.
Nighthawks All-Access continues now, and a big thanks to Coach Burson. We will look forward to following the women all season long. We are in the training facility here at North Georgia with the head athletic trainer, Matt Daniel. And Matt, welcome to All-Access.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Absolutely. You are, and your staff, a vital cog in what goes on with athletics here at the University of North Georgia. 13 different sports that you and your team are responsible for. I can't begin to imagine the volume of interaction that you have with the student athletes here at North Georgia. First of all, how big is your team, and how do you address all the responsibilities that come along with athletic training?
Yes, sir. It is difficult, not going to lie. There's 5 certified athletic trainers. It's myself, and then I have 2 full-time assistants and then 2 graduate assistants. We look at it as it's a good problem. You know, there's, again, limited numbers for us to treat the 230 plus athletes we do have. The key to it, I think, is the communication factor of who's going to be where, you know, what assignments do you have. We do have sport assignments. Each certified is assigned to at least 2 to 3 different sport teams, but at the same time we communicate to say, hey, if you can't be there, someone's going to be here. I'm going to treat this athlete even though it's not your design, you know, your designated team or sport.
Right.
We're still going to, you know, treat that athlete because our number one concern is the health care of these student athletes.
Take us through an average week when it comes to coordinating the staff that you have, depending upon what sports are in season. How do you go through that planning process?
That's a loaded question there. No, good question, but it's difficult. Obviously, like I said, it depends on in-season sports because we are, you know, limited in the number that we do have of certified athletic trainers that actually are clinically based. It is in season tend to get the more attention, unfortunately, but it's kind of nature of the beast. You know, we look at it and say, okay, what's a higher contact, higher risk sport? They're going to take a little bit more precedence, unfortunately, but we try to maintain that status quo because we look at every athlete as it's all the same. You know, every athlete is the exact same caliber status to us. But it sometimes it comes down to, okay, well, we have, you know, soccer's going on, basketball starting up, baseball's in the fall, they're starting, softball's still going on, cross country's going on. Where do we need people? So it does kind of cross over. So somebody might be covering a soccer practice while they're covering a baseball practice just because we have limited, you know, basketball started, they're on the road. So it just kind of comes down to looking at the numbers and where can we be most efficient for the health care of these athletes.
Now, we are in the primary facility here that's in the lower level of Memorial Hall.
Yes, sir.
See a number of training tables, a number of TENS units, other materials that you have to work with. Talk about on a day where you've got this facility maxed out and the challenge then being able to handle all the athletes that you need to get to.
Yes, sir. It can be very challenging, but we tend to make the best of it. You know, we try to anyways. Anyway, if you come in here from 11 to about 1 o'clock on a daily basis, you're going to see anywhere from, you know, 15 to 20 athletes in here. Luckily, we have the facility just across the hall here that we can utilize that as well. But it's basically we're multitasking. We might have somebody doing exercises on their own for a minute while we're manually doing exercises or, you know, manual therapy on another individual. So it does get crazy, but again, that goes to the communication and it puts some of the work on the athletes herself. You know, they're here to get better. They're here to be on the court, you know, the field, whatever it is. And so we kind of put that on them too. Like, hey, here's your exercises. Let's you can do them. We've taught them to you, so now you come in here, how are we feeling, how you doing? Okay, we got that, now let's move forward, because again, at the end of the day, we want them on the court, we want them on the field. We don't want them in here. We're not going to tell them no, we love them, but at the same time, if they're not in here, then that's not a bad problem.
And it's a big responsibility on them too, with regard to your previous remark talking about the scheduling of dealing with 200 plus student athletes, and knowing that you have limited staff to work with them. There's a responsibility on the student athletes to be here when they're supposed to be here.
Yes, sir. We have a scheduling board. We do as a daily basis. It is, we block it out for 30-minute increments, and they sign up for it, so that tells us when they're available, and it tells them too when we're not available, because it's not fair to the athlete if they're coming by and they sign up for time and they can't find Matt. Where's he at? And well, he's not. It tells us when to be here as well.
Talk with us as we begin to wind down the visit here on All Access. The best part of your role in athletic training as part of athletics here at UNG?
Again, the staff here, administration down, hands down, they got our backs. So number one, that's very important. If we go to them with something, then they're there to say, we got you. So do what y'all need to do, and we got your back. One of the, like I say, the best part, but one of the best parts is, again, the relationships with these athletes that we develop. And not only athletes, the coaching staff, as well. I've been with Buffie, I was with Chris for several years, and that's friendships beyond just work. So it's that relationship, and then the other part is seeing those athletes that do have a significant injury, and then we're with them for, let's say it's an ACL injury, and they're in here for 8 months rehabbing, and then they're back on the court, the field, running, whatever it is, and then you see them play and perform, and you're like, okay, that's why I spent those countless hours getting them back. And that right there is why we do what we do.
So that's rewarding both personally and professionally.
Yes, sir.
All right, Matt, thank you so much.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Matt and Daniel right here on Nighthawks All Access. Back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Sonia McClain with Red Rooster Realty. Fall is right around the corner, and it doesn't get any prettier than this. Have you been thinking about buying in Georgia's Lake and Mountain Paradise? Give me a call at 770-480-4777.
The UNG Bookstore is the one-stop shop where students can get anything they need for the classroom, and fans can find everything they need to support the Nighthawks, from shirts and jackets to car decals and tailgating chairs. Gear up at the Nighthawks desk with officially licensed UNG merchandise. Be sure to shop in store to find the item of the week. Visit our stores in Dahlonega, Gainesville, Oconee, and Cumming, or check us out online at ungbookstore.com. The UNG Bookstore is a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics.
Nighthawks All Access continues, and now joined by Aleah Johnson. Aleah, welcome.
Thank you.
It is absolutely a pleasure to finally meet you and talk with one of the more notable members of cross country and track here at North Georgia. I know that when you talk about the combination of being a student athlete, the time commitment is a huge factor, and especially when we talk about running in both cross country and track, just due to the training that's involved. Talk a little bit about how that has affected your time here at North Georgia.
Okay, well, it was a very hard adjustment at first because I'm also part of the education program, which we are in the classroom for 8 hours on Monday and 8 hours on Tuesday, and then we spend the rest of the week in an elementary school, 8 hours of the day. And then you get up at 5 a.m., you go to the elementary school all day, and then you have your second practice afterwards. So it's really hard at first, but eventually you just get good at being busy and dealing with time management. I don't know, I think I'm very appreciative of being a part of the cross country and track team for that reason.
Right, in fact, as we are here today, you are just fresh out of the classroom, having spent one of those days. Let's go ahead and start with the academic end of things and your pursuit of a career in education. How did that come about?
How did I?
Your choice to go into education.
Well, in high school, in middle school, in elementary school, I always participated in clubs that work with students with special needs. And so I just grew a love for working with those kind of people, and it's just what I knew I wanted to do. So I came to college and that was what my mind is set on. But here at North Georgia, it's a dual major where it's special education and early childhood, so I have the option to go general education or special education.
That's great that you've got that flexibility. Talk a little bit about knowing that you've got that career ahead of you. I know that's a lot of people, when they finish college, there's a lot of question about what they're going to be doing. I would assume that you have a fairly good idea.
Oh yeah, I do have a little bit of a plan. I plan to go back home to Cherokee County. That's where my family lives, so I can be close to them, and I plan to teach there. And I'm sure a lot of people know that there are a lot of job opportunities for special education as well as general education too. So
a tremendous need.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
so
a tremendous need. And you're to be congratulated for that pursuit, because I think there's a special calling for teachers to do that. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
From the athletic standpoint here at North Georgia, obviously being involved in cross country, we have seen that program grow tremendously. You've been a big part of that. Talk about being part of that cross country program.
Well, it's made my experience here at North Georgia. I couldn't ask for a better time in college, really. That's where my friend group is at. That's where I spend most of my time. My roommates are my best friends, and it came from being a part of that team. And it's helped me grow up, because I came into college my first year and I didn't talk. I just said 0 words. I would just show up to practice and run. But eventually that's what helped me open up and become the person that I am, I guess.
That
great. Sounds cheesy, but that's how I feel.
But that's the truth, and that is a big part of the college experience, the university experience, is growing both personally and academically, athletically, and it's great that cross country here and track has been a part of that. Just looking at your list of accolades in preparation for a visit, and fills up an entire sheet. It's amazing what you've been able to accomplish, both through running and in the classroom. All conference academic honors, all conference track and cross country honors. Let's talk a little bit about this year in cross country. Phenomenal performance collectively as a team, some event victories for the team as a whole, and some phenomenal finishes for you personally. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know that the team qualified again for regionals, and that was a very tough field, but congratulations to you, finishing 13th in that event. And I know that it's always tough to wind up the season, but congratulations to you and the team for a phenomenal year.
Thank you.
Now, talk a little bit about what it's like to run for Coach Williams.
Oh, he's the best. When I was a freshman, like I told you, I was super shy and timid, and he just brought out the best of me. He would tell me the same joke every single practice. I can't even remember the joke. I just remember being scared that I was going to get the answer wrong or something, but I don't know. He is a great man, and I feel like I owe him the world, because I don't know. I just feel like he gets me, and when I'm nervous before a race, he knows how to calm me down, or just anything. He knows his athletes, and he invests his time into us. I don't know. He's a great man.
That is awesome.
That is what I have to say.
I really enjoyed the quote that you listed on your bio, your favorite quote, and I think a lot of runners probably identify with this. And the quote is, "We run so we can eat cookies." I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. So that begs the question: what's your favorite type of cookie?
I'm basic. I like chocolate chip.
I love it.
Yes, that's where it's at.
Chips Ahoy. Leah, as we wrap up this visit, what has been the best part of your experience in your time here at UNG?
Getting to be a part of UNG athletics. This is unforgettable. I'll get to tell my children about this, I don't know. That seems pretty cool to me.
That is great that you've got that to look back at, and I know that many of your teammates will be friends for life.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing. We appreciate you being a part of Nighthawk All-Access as our Nighthawk Spotlight. Congratulations on your phenomenal career. Best wishes as you pursue your postgraduate work.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for this segment of All Access. Stay with us, back in just a moment.
Until another time. shop, play, and stay in Dahlonega, the heart of the North Georgia mountains.
Coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network, men's soccer takes on Georgia Southwestern on Senior Day, Saturday afternoon. Hawk Talk airs Monday afternoons at 3:30 on Glory 97.9 and AM 1330, and the men's basketball team opens the home portion of their schedule Wednesday night. That's all coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Thanks so much for joining us on this edition of Nighthawk All-Access. We look forward to next time being with you. On behalf of everyone on the staff, I'm Craig Corbin. We'll see you.